So I've just made a brand new account and the first soldier is called Chad. How lucky is that? This name has already become too much of a meme for me to take seriously, dear God. If his name is not an indicator of how beefy this video is going to be, I don't even know what is, lads. How's it all going, humans of the world? My name is MajorMcDonalds and you're watching the Complete Beginner's Guide to Enlisted, which literally starts you as you log into the game for the first time ever, explaining what every screen means, what to do on each page, best practices for each page, and more. This is literally going to be the most complete guide out there on the game right now and covers every single detail in the game. And yes, this is very, very different to my normal videos, I'll admit. This will probably be done in one take, so bear with me for the whole time if you're stuck with me for that long, and I'll put timestamps on the video timeline as well to help you pick which sections you need. If you want other beginners videos on Enlisted, I have so many more on my channel for you, so there's much more to watch after you've seen this one. So once you've finished watching this video and you've absorbed all the information within it, be sure to click in the top right hand corner of the video now on the white exclamation mark for a few of the others when you're ready. And also click that subscribe button because this video took an unbelievably long time to write, check and edit. Let's get into it. So we're going to start immediately as, we're about to log in, and I've obviously blurred my login details because this is my second account, so it will be completely brand new and look hopefully as close to what all of you guys will be seeing for the first time in game. So tick whatever boxes you want, so we can store login, store your password, whatever. So click login. Logging in, please wait, and you'll eventually see some clouds probably showing you that you are logging in into the account. And now, obviously, if there's been a major update, such as the Burning Sky update, which came out really recently, in fact, only a few days ago, then you'll get all the list of the patch notes up here, and you can have a read if you want to. I'm not going to cover all of these because I've already done so in this video. Watch this video that you're seeing on screen now, because that is a very nice and very highly edited video, very, very different to this one, covering everything that you need to know about this update and just making some jokes about it, really. So yeah, you'll enjoy that, I promise. Once you're done reading all of these, you can also cycle between different patch notes as well. Then you can click on close or whatever else you want to do, or next. And the first thing you'll probably be presented with isn't this screen actually with daily rewards. You'll probably actually be presented with a choice between campaign and faction. This is probably what it asked me for the first time. This is why I remembered to say this now. And I'll be honest, I was worried the first time when picking, as I had no idea if it restricted your choice, but it doesn't. I can assure you it does not restrict your choice. So just pick whatever you want to, and pretty much as soon as you've clicked, you can immediately change campaign and faction anyway. Now, most people do generally just pick the Americans in Normandy, so Normandy campaign, and the Allies, just because that's, what attracts a lot of people to the game, really. So yeah, if you want to get involved with that one, then obviously pick that one, but you can change it immediately. So don't stress about what you're picking. We'll show you how to change it later. Then obviously the second thing that comes up should be this daily rewards button. Now, basically it's just a daily rewards screen. I mean, you probably see these in other games if you've played pretty much any other game. Just logging in, you get a free little reward. So obviously take them if you can, because they're free. Why wouldn't you? So yeah, you can actually check what comes in each box. Some of the boxes look like different colors, and depending on how many days you've logged in for. So these silver boxes are random XP boosters. You can see, read below, what you actually get, plus 50%, plus 75%, whatever. And then the gold boxes come with different orders for weaponry. We'll cover what all of this stuff means in more detail later in the video, so don't worry if you don't understand it now. So yeah, pretty much as you go through, you'll get more and more of these, and then sometimes you get slightly larger boxes which come with more prizes for logging in for more consecutive days. At some round numbers as well, you can also get some gold orders and some pretty insane stuff in these if you log in for a consecutive amount of days. And I think you get one something like every 25 days or 50 days. I don't remember, but as long as you just log in, you don't need to play a game, you just need to log in really and just to claim it. Obviously this is day one because I haven't logged into this alt for ages, so it'll be a random draw between one of these 4 items. I don't know what I'll get. Click get reward and it'll just basically be a random draw. It'll just show you what you get. Okay, I got plus 50% for one battle. That's literally the worst one I could have got in here. Oh well. It's still plus 50% XP, and so it's very useful nonetheless to level up your squads, which we'll come to later. Click OK when you're done, and yes, if there's an event going on, as there is right now, there's a D-Day event, because obviously it's the anniversary of D-Day right about now in this period of time. So you'll basically list the description of the events, then the rewards you can get from playing and completing the tasks, some of the rewards, cover what all of these mean later, XP booster, and you've got the tasks as well, telling you some terms of the event, blah, blah, blah. But the key things you need to see are are on this side. So all the tasks you need to complete are the 3 here, as you can see my mouse moving between them. You can also, if you don't complete them in time, because usually they have a time limit to complete them, usually about a day or something, but most of these are fairly straightforward, so you could essentially complete all of them in one battle, so you don't need to waste too much time. If you don't complete them and you want to get the rewards at the end of the day, then obviously click purchase, and you can purchase it for gold, which is the enlisted in-game currency, to help you basically level up a lot quicker. We'll come to a lot more what that does later. And then you've got the big prizes up here as well. So, you know, there's stage 1 of 8 and 0 of 2 progress. So ways they divide the events down into different sections so you can, you know, obtain the best rewards, which are obviously labeled here. I won't read this because you can probably read it in your own time, and the events that you'll probably start with as you join the game might not be this one, so, you know, they'll be different, so I won't bother to read them. But once you're done and you understand this, click close. Obviously, you can come back to the screen at any time, so don't worry if you've forgotten something. So whatever campaign and faction you clicked will appear here. Obviously, I told you before, probably most people pick Normandy Allies, and this is exactly what we're on. We said earlier, it's very easy to change campaign, as you can do this very simply by clicking in this button where switch campaign is at the top right here. Obviously, it says you're in Normandy at the minute and what level you are. We'll come to what that means later, but clicking switch campaign will allow you to just pick whatever faction you want. Say I wanted to play, I don't know, Moscow, and it will pick one of the 2 for you. And if you wanted to switch between both factions, obviously you've got Allies and Axis, so your armies are completely separate and different here, as you can see. So yeah, pick whichever one you want. But for the purposes of this video, we'll just stick with Normandy Allies, because that's what majority of people watching this video will be playing. As a good rule of thumb, different campaigns specialize in different things. For example, Battle of Berlin is very close quarters combat heavy, reflecting the fact it took place, you know, the most recent historically to today, I guess, and may have many fully automatic weapons. Probably the most similar playstyle to something like COD, or something like a Halo, or something like that. Whereas the Tunisia and Moscow campaigns are a bit more bolt action rifle focused, so slower firing weapons, but obviously as you progress in the campaign you unlock more automatic weapons, and so yeah, a lot of older weapons, that kind of thing. It's historically accurate, so whoever's competing which side will be there. So in Tunisia, it was pretty much the Americans and British against the Italians and Germans, so you've got a mix of those on both sides. In Stalingrad, it was pretty much just the Soviets against the Germans, with a bit of help from its German allies. You've got a Romanian plane in there, you've got some Hungarian weapons, if I remember correctly. So what I should say is, notice as you flick between the 2 campaigns, as we said before, that the 2 armies completely change. Your pictures completely change of what soldiers you've got, and the sidebar here completely changes. This is because obviously they're completely separate, and say if you level up your Normandy Allies army, then your Normandy Axis army, like this one, will not level up. You've got to play them specifically and differently, is what I'm trying to say, to level up both sides. On the far left of this screen, it shows the icons, level, type, and quantity of squads you have currently equipped, and when clicked on, it highlights, and the panel to the right of that opens up to show what soldiers and weapons are currently in that squad. As you can see here, the squad at the top is called the 505th Parachute Infantry Regiment. It has 4 troops within it, 1, 2, 3, 4, one of which is an assaulter type. That's what this icon means. That's what this icon purely means. It's an assaulter troop type, and it's troop type 1 because of the ribbon, and it also has 3 other riflemen, 1, 2, 3. These are all labelled by the bullet icon, and once again it's troop type 1 of rifleman because it has the 1 ribbon, as you can see here. It also says there is space for another soldier in this squad. I have 3 out of a possible 5 riflemen, which is shown by this icon, and 1 out of a possible 2 assaulters. As you can see, this is reflected just below it, with 1 assaulter and 3 riflemen. All troops have randomly generated faces and names, but you can customize them and change them, which we will show how to do soon. On each soldier, you will see the name, face, and their currently equipped primary weapon, which is the line just below their name. For example, Anthony Buchanan has the M3 submachine gun. Sean Martinez has got equipped the M1903 Springfield. It also has the soldier's rank, which is given by the number of stars not coloured in. So for Anthony Buchanan, he's rank 3. For Sean Martinez, he's rank 1, same as Larry Hunt and Richard Tran. That's a strange name, Tran, but we move. Soldier level is slightly different from rank. Soldier level is reflected by how many of these stars are coloured in. Obviously, none of these troops are any level. They're all level 0 because they don't have any stars coloured in. Note, as I've been doing, you can actually hover over certain things to see more information about things that you might want to know. For example, hovering over the class type or the level or rank. So, with all that information now down, you should know by now that as Anthony Buchanan is an assaulter troop type 1, his name is Anthony Buchanan. This is what his face looks like, so therefore you can deduce that he is this guy in the middle screen here. He's got the M3 submachine gun equipped, and he's rank 3, but level 0. out of 3. Now, if you were to apply that same concept to, say, Larry Hunt, I'll give you a second to work it out, but what you should realise is that he's a rifleman, troop type 1, rank 1, level 0, primary weapon is M1903 Springfield, and his name is Larry Hunt. And because that's his face, he is quite clearly this guy, I believe. That was, I had to look there for a second. You'll learn what each troop type's icon is as you play more of the game, but mostly they're relatively simple to interpret, and we'll come back to how leveling of troops works soon. If you click on a specific soldier though, as we will do with Anthony Buchanan here, it brings up a whole new menu of options to see in more detail more about this troop and his perks, and also the type of equipment he's got equipped. You can even spin around your guy by holding the right mouse button and just, turning the mouse and just seeing, what he looks like in terms of his model, because sometimes people want to see different things, because they're weird. Many of the stuff that's opened up in this new tab are stuff we've already seen before, but some things are new. One new thing we can see is the XP bar, the experience bar, which is how close he is to the next level. Obviously, this is just completely grayed out because he has no XP. He hasn't played a game yet because I haven't played a single game in this campaign. It's a brand new account. So it says experience to the next level is 0 out of 800. In terms of other stuff you can see, the Roman numerals right next to the guy's name also shows what rank the soldier is. Obviously, you can get a maximum rank of 5, but the soldiers can be anywhere from 1 to 5. Level is obviously given by how many stars are coloured in. That also implies that you've activated a perk point, which we'll come to later. But in this weaponry tab, as we can see here, this shows his entire loadout. Some of this stuff is locked with the red tint, meaning you have to level up the campaign, or the specific squad, or the specific troop type for some of these things to be able to use them. What is unlocked by default at level 1 is the primary weapon slot, as you can see here, with the M3 submachine gun in it. We see this weapon is also specifically an assaulter class weapon, given by the icon, the same icon in the bottom left corner of the weapon screen. This means that only assaulters can use this weapon, but for assaulters specifically, tankers, pilots and medics can also equip assaulter weapons, other classes that we'll come to later. This weapon also comes with a magazine of 30 rounds and an extra 90 rounds which you will use when you reload in game, so with a total of 120 rounds. The secondary weapon slot is locked for now, as it's shown in red, so is the sidearm slot, and a few of the other equipment slots like this backpack slot. The first equipment slot is where the backpack will go. When unlocked, would give additional room for other things like extra ammo, extra medpacks or extra grenades. But the sidearm slot, which you also have to unlock, would allow you to add pistols or a sidearm in this slot. The third slot, which you do have open, is your melee weapon, which is by default a knife, and every trooper has access to a knife by default. You must have a knife equipped at the bare minimum. These knives are also unequipable, so if you were to get rid of it, you do have to replace it with another melee weapon. The next section is for grenades, and currently this bloke has an MK2 grenade, which is just a standard hand grenade. The slot next to it is for mines, such as anti-tank or anti-personnel mines, but even TNT charges in some campaigns, and this is an unlocked slot. At the very end, there's slots for a med kit, or you can alternatively put a toolkit here, which are useful for repairing vehicles like tanks or bikes. There's also brand new slots for flask and binoculars, which were added in the recent Burning Sky update that we covered earlier. And in order to change what the guy has equipped, you can click on any of these slots to open a whole new menu itself. For example, we will click on the primary weapon slot. We open up a new menu altogether, but don't worry, it's relatively simple to interpret. The far left panel just shows the exact same panel we saw with Anthony Buchanan's specific troop loadout. The panel just to the right of that though is different, and it shows what other items could go into the primary weapon slot. And there is a scroll bar to the right hand side to go down further to see what we could actually put on this bloke. You see there's a variety of different options. Currently, we only have M1903 Springfields available to change it out to. This is because all the others are blanked out. But that is a bolt-action rifle, and submachine guns are better, especially for assaulter classes. So we'd rather keep the SMG M3 submachine gun equipped. In order to change it, you could just drag and drop any weapon into the slot, as we've just done there, and you could just swap it straight back. All the other possibilities that are grayed out show we need a specific campaign level to unlock them. For example, the M3A1 submachine gun requires you to get campaign level 9, and we'll take a look at what that means later. For anything that says method of obtaining is classified, such as a few at the bottom here, that usually means you could obtain these weapons for gold weapon orders, which we'll come to soon, or from in-game events, like the D-Day events, as we showed near the start of this video. There's also an option to see all weapons in the entire game for this campaign, for this faction, by clicking at the bottom here to open up a brand new menu. But there is little point in actually looking through these, as an assaulter troop type, which Anthony Buchanan is, will never be able to equip any of these weapons. They are all in red as well, showing that you can't equip them, and you never will be able to regardless of your campaign level, because Anthony Buchanan is just not the right troop type. On the far right, however, we do see a model of the weapon which is slightly hidden by the statistics at the right hand side there, but you can actually, just like we did for dragging soldiers and moving him around, hold right click and drag to have a look at the model of the weapon. But next to this we can see the weapon's core stats. Many of these aspects are just filler, and those of you out there obsessed with guns can actually take pleasure in reading this, I guess. But the key information for every weapon is hit power, which is given near the top, and damage reduction over distance, which shows how bullet drop-off works. Rate of fire is also important, as that together with hit power, you can calculate your damage per second or DPS. Reload time, vertical and horizontal recoil, and also magazine size, or also known as feed system, are also important statistics, but the rest are mostly irrelevant. Weight can be important if you want to run faster in-game, because a lighter weapon, when equipped, when actually holding it, will allow you to run slightly faster, but it's mostly irrelevant. Firing mode is also here, showing, well, you know, what kind of firing modes this weapon actually has. Obviously this one only has automatic, so you can't change it. For many weapons which are customizable, you can change its attachments by clicking in the rectangular box in the corner of the weapon image. Now the M3 submachine gun does not have this box, but as we see if we scroll up, we can see the M1903 Springfield does, because it has a bayonet. Now, you can take off the bayonet, for example, by dragging it on, clicking on the bayonet and dragging it off. But I'm not even sure why you'd want to do that, because you just rather have the bayonet. There's no downside to it, put it that way. Other weapons may have scopes in that same slot, or any other attachments which you can eventually take off. But not all weapons will have that. You will also notice that weapons have stars, as weapons can be upgraded too, like levels, like the soldiers can. The M3 submachine gun here is 1 star. Out of a possible 4, or if you wanted to think about it in level terms, it's level 1 out of a possible 4, meaning we can upgrade this weapon for bronze weapon orders, which we'll explain later, and the specific upgrades that come with each level of the weapon itself are listed at the bottom of the weapon stats, at the bottom over here. For example, if you level up this specific weapon to level 2, which is marked by the 2 stars, then you will get a decrease in reload time of 10%. This upgrade is also called a magazine catch adjustment, but you can just mostly ignore the actual names of it and just look at the key statistics. If you go from level 2 to level 3, you will also see a rate of fire improvements and reductions in both vertical and horizontal recoil. And then for obviously level 4, maximum level, you get more hit power, i.e. more base damage, and less shot deviation. Now, shot deviation is a hidden statistic in the game, but it is observable in the game files, and a friend of mine, Disford, did actually release a document a while back showing shot deviations for the key weapons in the game. However, I think that document is a little bit out of date because it doesn't have all of the new weapons in it, but you can still mine them yourself from the game files, or you could just test the weapon yourself, because it's fairly easy to see what the shot deviation is just by using it. There is an option to upgrade your weapons below all of the stats once you've unlocked this functionality for each of the weapons right here. And also there would be an area where you can swap weapons between campaigns if they are present in both campaigns, and if you've already unlocked them both in each campaign. Obviously it's not here right now because I don't think I have this weapon in another campaign. There's also an option to sell the weapons here, which you can sell for bronze weapon orders. Note that different weapons start out at different numbers of stars. For example, this one started out as level 1 out of 4. We didn't upgrade this, it came as this. However, if we click on, say, what's a good example, the M1A1 Thompson, you can quite easily see here that it starts out as level 3. We don't have this unlocked, but if we were ever to buy it, when we do have it unlocked, it would come at least level 3. It may come as higher, depending on if we get lucky with when we buy it. It also does have the exact same upgrades as the M3 submachine gun, because it's the same class of a weapon, an assaulter weapon, therefore all the upgrades and their levels are the same. Notice we can upgrade this one 3 times as well, just like we could upgrade the M3 submachine gun 3 times. But it starts out at 3 stars and could go to level 6, but that one only started out at level 1 and could only go to level 4. It's just a way of, the devs showing which weapons are slightly better than others. But it should also be noted that weapons unlocked earlier at higher levels, higher stars, may just be better than weapons unlocked later in the campaign at lower stars. It's always worth it to check the stats if you are unsure, or just whatever one you feel like using and you have the most fun with. Once you unlock more sections of the troop loadout screen, you can click on them here, just like we did, and add things such as secondary weapons. But when clicking on it, we do not have permission to use it because we have not unlocked this ability. We have to go to the upgrade screen in order to find a way to upgrade it. But we'll come to that screen later. Anything else that's red will have the same issue, but the things that are not red are things you can change. For example, the knife. Here, there are many fewer stats and we have the exact same functionality, and it shows some of the available melee weapons you can get. This isn't a complete list because I know there's swords and some other things you can get, like custom and very limited edition rare swords, so they're not present here for whatever reason, but it does show at least a few of them that you can unlock for free. Onto the grenade section, and you'll see we have a few options. The main few grenades available to us are standard hand grenades, such as the MK2 grenade in this campaign for this specific faction, noting that different factions will have different names for the so-called same items. An explosive pack, which is generally accepted to be one of the best possible grenade type items to put in this slot because it can also kill tanks and acts like a grenade as well. You can also get smoke grenades, which you should know what they are, and Molotovs, which obviously just throw a bunch of fire where you place it. There's also a brand new thing called impact grenades, which will detonate upon impact. The next section is mines, and there are two main options, anti-tank or anti-personnel, as you can click on right here. But there are also TNT charges in other campaigns that you might be able to use. For the medkit slot, you can click on that, and there are two main options here, a medkit or tools. Tools are for, as we said before, for vehicle repairs. So for an assaulter squad, you probably don't need these because there is very little chance you're going to need to repair a vehicle. So probably always have a medkit. And then there's also a slot for flasks and binoculars as well, should you have unlocked them. We don't need to look at anything else in this menu, so you can click back in the bottom right hand corner or the X in the top right hand corner of the screen to go back after you've made any changes that you want to make to this specific soldier. Remember, you can do the same for every other soldier in every other squad. So for example, for Sean Martinez, we can also click on one of his weapons and also have a similar look. But do note that because he is a rifleman, the weapons that are available here, but are not unlocked obviously, are very different to the ones we saw for the assaulter. This is because different troop classes can only equip different weapons. You should also notice that sometimes different soldiers come with different free stuff, like this guy has an explosive pack rather than an MK2 grenade, which is a nice thing by the devs, so you can actually test a few of the things out before deciding to buy more of them. Alternatively, we could go to the next squad, such as this sniper class squad, which we know it's a sniper because it has a sniper icon in the bottom left hand corner of the squad icon, and we can also do the same by looking through all of theirs. Similarly, for the third squad we have available right here. But for the sniper squad, we actually realise that Douglas Castillo here, he is a sniper class trooper. And he's a sniper class troop type 1 because he's got one ribbon, as you can see here. Because he is a different troop type, he also has different weapons available to him. Because he's a sniper, he can only equip, obviously, the starting default rifle, which is the M1903 Springfield, for this specific campaign, just like all troopers can, as it's the basic of the basic rifles. But then the only other weapons that he can equip are all snipers. But in this case, he does have a sniper already equipped. Notice we only have 3 squads available here, but as you level up and play more in the Invasion of Normandy campaign with the Allies army, you will unlock more squads. You can find these other squads after you've unlocked them by clicking on this 3-person thingy-majig icon, I don't even know what to call this. Here you will see other squads you have in the reserve, if any. Currently we don't have any in the reserve as we're level 1, but you can see all the different levels required to unlock all of these different squads, and all the different icons reflect what type of different squad they are. By default, everyone can at least use 4 squads in every battle. We can unlock more squads with a premium account or by purchasing them with Enlisted Gold, which is the Enlisted currency. 4 is usually more than enough, as you can get 3 infantry squads and a vehicle squad in here, whether that be a plane or a tank. Any squads you can't equip or don't want to equip can be dropped here when you drag them to send them to the reserve, just like that, and drag them back just like this. But a big key tip for new players: if you are going to put a specific squad in the reserve, for example like this one, then please unequip all of the soldiers in that squad and remove as many of the soldiers as you can from that squad before you do it. This is vital. Strip them down so you can put their items, equipment and troops in other squads that you are equipping. You can do this by clicking on the Managing Soldiers button, and once again you'll have access to the weapon loadouts per trooper, but you'll also see another screen where spare soldiers will be if you have any spare. Currently we don't have any spares, this is a brand new account, but this is where they'd be, and you could swap them in and out just like this, as long as they fit the requirements for that squad. Obviously here we could only add 1 other assaulter trooper, or we could add 2 other riflemen. And the 2 other riflemen comes because we can take out this assaulter trooper and put 2 riflemen in there. It just shows the maximum number you could possibly have of both. To strip them down, the easiest way is when you drag them to the reserve, which is what this is. It says reserve 1 of 25 because we only got 1 guy in the reserve, and click on remove unnecessary equipment, and it will reset everything to the default. For example, it will give Anthony Buchanan, rather than his assault weapon, the default bolt action rifle, because every trooper must have something equipped even if they're in the reserve. I don't know why Enlisted does this, but you just have to. So the best thing to put on them is just any spare default rifles, the basic of the basic things you won't use, and just give it to them. But it will try and do that automatically by default for you. It will also keep them with a knife because every soldier must have a knife, but it will remove all of the grenades, mines, flasks, binoculars and medkits that you do have equipped. Obviously, when you put this soldier back in the squad, you can go back into his loadout and give him all of the stuff that you wanted to give him. For example, he had the MK2 grenade, we'll give him that again. He didn't have any mines, flasks or binoculars, but he did have a med kit, so we'll drag that back for him. Click back once you're done. Stripping down your soldiers will save you so much in weapon and troop orders down the line, and save you so much using the economy of the game. We'll come to the economy in more detail soon. You do, though, for some reason, need a few soldiers to be kept in those reserve squads, or in any squad, regardless whether you're using it or not. For example, if I remove out every single soldier from this squad and try to click OK, it will say I need at least a minimum of 4 in this squad. It doesn't matter whether they're fighting, whether this squad is actually equipped, or is it just going to go into the reserve. For some reason, they do require you to have a number of troops to put there. You can click and fill in the rest automatically if it helps, which then it just does whatever order it feels like doing. Obviously, I want to move the assaulter to the front. Moving soldiers around can also help you when actually in game to pick out which one you actually want to start out as. So that's why I'm moving it to the top there, but it's mostly irrelevant. But if you were going to put this squad into the reserve, the best policy is to try and put only riflemen in there, because they are the least valuable troop type and you'll probably get quite a lot of those over time for free as you level up your campaign. And also remove any other troop type. So I'd probably never put my assaulter in a squad that I was just sending to the reserve, because it's just a waste and you'd rather use this assaulter probably in another squad. Back into the squad selection screen now, and you can see that with the 6 dots, meaning you can drag individual squads up and down the list just to reorder them to suit your preferences. There is also an information button where you can click on more information to find out more about the squad that you unlocked, a little bit about what its starting perks are, some history of it. Sometimes it's in more detail than this, I promise, and then more about what else it is on the side. Click close to go back to the home screen again once you've finished deciding what order you want things in and what squads you want equipped. You should also note that all brand new unlocked squads do come with some troopers by default for you to use in each squad, including one of the squad's type, and the rest being riflemen. For example, if we unlocked a machine gunner squad, which we don't have here, we would get, by default, 1 machine gunner and probably 3 riflemen as well, just like we do in these squads. But this third squad here is an actual rifleman squad. Therefore, you only get riflemen in them, but you do get more riflemen in them than you do in any other squad. Some things we have not spoken about, though, are the other tabs on the troop loadout menu. For example, let's click on Chad here. We're currently in the weaponry tab, but there are 2 other tabs at the top here that you can click on, notably perks and the pencil icon. Beginning with the perks tab, and let me tell you, this section might be the most complicated thing in the game, so bear with me as I try my best to explain it all for you. But this is where individual upgrades for specific soldiers can be made. Note on this screen that every soldier comes with a perk by default, which cannot be changed and is dependent on the specific soldier troop type. For example, Rifleman 1, which Chad Collins is, has a plus 10.5% speed of decreasing of the shot spread after quick turning perk. Ernest Wright, Richard Young, Lee Atkins and Harvey Cochran? Is that you? I don't even know. Point is, they all have the exact same starting perk because they are the exact same troop type. This is just a free perk that comes with all the specific soldiers of a specific type. You cannot change these perks either. All other perks, though, are able to be obtained after a few steps. The first major one is the perk points. Every soldier comes with a random perk point allocation within a range, which is given by these 3 icons at the top here. This range can vary between soldier as well, even if they are the same troop type. These perk points are divided into the green boot icon, which means speed perk points, the red heart icon, which means vitality perk points, and the yellow fist icon, which means weapon handling perks. The perk points that each soldier has access to is dependent on the unique soldier, which can be completely random, also the troop class type, and what rank the soldier is. So many things come into play. Chad here starts out as rank 3, and it says we can upgrade him to rank 4 with this button in the corner here, for 6 bronze troop orders. That's what this icon means. We'll explain what they actually mean later. We can upgrade him to rank 4 here for 6 bronze orders. That's what this means. But we don't have any bronze orders yet, so we can't. As you see, here, it won't let you. Equally, we can't do it because we haven't unlocked the higher levels for the specific soldier through the upgrades tab, which we'll come to later. If we ranked him up to rank 4, he'd get a boost to all of his perk points. All of these 3 here. Alternatively, we could just train the soldier up with the training button, which does essentially the exact same thing in theory as ranking him up, but it does it in increments, say if you don't have enough bronze troop orders. So for this specific rank on this specific soldier, to go from rank 3 to 4, you would need 6 bronze orders anyway, so you can essentially divide up the jump in the perk points that he would get from ranking him up into 6. This button is mostly pointless, you don't really need it, but it's just there in case you wanted to use it. In order to actually obtain the perks though, your soldier needs XP so he can fill those ranks up. For example, to achieve level 1, as we've spoken about, because he's level 0 at the minute, he's not level 1, he starts out at level 0, and obviously his maximum rank is 3 because we haven't upgraded the rank, he needs 800 XP, which you can get from playing in games and doing well with this specific soldier. He can also just be an AI, you don't need to physically be controlling Chad Collins himself, you could be any of the other soldiers in the squad. Alternatively, you can actually buy the level up for enlisted gold, as you can see here, which is once again the currency that the game uses. Purchasable currency with your own money. Do note though that if you can level up your soldier to level 1, which means that you get at least 800 experience points, then this area will change and you can immediately click on it to pick a perk point. You'll be given 3 possible perks to choose from when you click that button, and the set of 3 is completely random. Often these are bad and not the ones you actually want, so you can change the perk by once selecting it, clicking on it again, and opting to go down a level to re-level up and pick another perk. The range of perks each soldier can obtain is observable through the available perks button, which is right here, alongside how many perk points are actually required for each perk point, as you can see here. For example, this minus 50% effects of head shaking caused by nearby explosions costs 4 vitality perk points. The ones that are grayed out show that this soldier, even at his maximum rank, should we be able to unlock this, we can't, because he needs 16 vitality perk points to unlock this plus 35% vitality perk, when at the moment he only has 7. As I said before, you can get higher perk points through 1, ranking the soldier up, through 2, different soldier classes have different perk point allocations, and 3, because each individual soldier has different perk points that it just comes with by pure luck. For example, Chad Collins here has 877. He's rank 3. Therefore, he's going to have more perk points than Ernest Wright, who has 333. He is rank 1. Has the same troop type, but it's only rank 1, therefore he has a lot less. But Richard Young here is also rank 1 and is also the same troop type. He's very likely to have different perk points. Okay, he has the same, that was a bad example, but let's try Lee Atkins. Okay, he has the same, that's another poor example. But Harvey Cochrane here does prove my point. Even though he's the same troop type and the same rank, he actually has 344, rather than Ernest Wright's 333. This just goes to show individual soldier IDs, which are completely random, end up with different perk points to start out with. That being said, there's much debate about what the best troop perks in the game actually are, and what you should be targeting. And it does vary between soldier classes, as there are some perks that are only available for specific classes. For example, there are some that aren't even listed here, because a rifleman can't unlock them. But generally though, and I'm speaking very generally, for all soldiers, you would not go wrong by targeting the plus 35% vitality from the perk tree, which actually means plus 35% health. From the green speed tree, you'd actually quite like plus 75% med pack usage speed, where is it? It's at the top here. And from the yellow weapon handling tree, you'd actually quite like the minus 40% vertical recoil while standing perk. Now these are just my preferences and I don't expect everyone else to agree with them, but this is what I like to use. Still, it does vary between specific soldiers. And that being said, when we said that you have a choice between 3, these pre-random perk points are often not the ones you'd actually want, so you'll have to keep going in order to get them. The only other alternative way to not re-leveling your troop or spending enlisted gold is by using a soldier level up order. Now they would appear somewhere on here, but obviously as we don't have any, they aren't here. What should also be mentioned is that, as before, remember that we said the bar at the top right shows how much XP is needed to get to the next soldier level, and the stars show what level the troop currently is, level 0 out of 3 in this case. Grayed out stars though show what rank he is, as we spoke before, i.e. 3 stars here, so Chad Collins is rank 3, but is level 0. Once you've got enough XP to get a perk point, it will notify you by the first star having an outline that starts flashing yellow. And once you've actually come into this menu and selected a perk, that would turn into a bright yellow star, as we saw for the weapons. Like for the Ross Mark rifle here, it starts out as level 1 of a possible level 4 that we spoke about earlier, and it's already level 1. But equally, as we just said, this yellow outline of a star implies that we have the ability to take it to level 2. Just like what would appear for Chad Collins and any other trooper at the top right here. A big tip though, a very, very big tip. Do not choose any perk points no matter if the stars are flashing until you've ranked up that soldier to maximum rank, which would be rank 5 for every single trooper. Yes, this is annoying, and this is me saying that you shouldn't actually use any perks until you've already spent all the bronze orders to rank him up. But you probably should do this because otherwise you will never have enough perk points to unlock the best perks we just mentioned, such as the plus 35% vitality perk. For Rifleman in particular, you can only get 16 vitality perk points when he is already rank 5. Therefore, if you get a perk at any other point, say as you've got 7 vitality perk points now, say you level this trooper up and you unlocked, I don't know, the plus 100% health regeneration out of combat perk, then you take away 5 of the vitality perk points already and you only have 2 perk points left. You will never be given the option to get the plus 35% vitality perk until he is rank 5. This is one big thing to remember. And slightly annoying at that, I'll be honest. And another thing, yes, I know this section is long, but each troop type has a different base level of perks, as we said before. And we didn't talk about how exactly you can find this. By hovering over the class of each type, you can clearly see that in the writing that pops up, the additional perk points for the Rifleman class are +1 vitality, +1 weapon handling, and +1 speed. So he just gets +1 across the board. But if we go to, say, Anthony Buchanan again, and we hover over his icon, then it says that additional perk points for the Assaulter class are +1 weapon handling and +2 speed, with +0 for the Vitality class. But then, because as we said, every trooper type has different perk points, which also plays into this. And another example, Larry Hunt here has 545, Richard Tran only has 354, and Sean Martinez has 444, even though they're all the same rank and the exact same troop type, which implies that they've got the exact same additional perk points. This shows that you might actually not get access to all the perk points you want if that specific soldier does not come with a good enough perk point base set. Now this is quite complicated to understand, but to make everything more simple, I will attach a link to the player-made Enlisted official document, mostly by a man called Stein Grenadier, which if you go to the Perks tab, shows what every troop at every rank and every class 1, 2 or 3 should have as perk points. So you can plan accordingly and realise whether this actual troop type that you've just unlocked is actually worth it, or if he's any good or trash or whatever. And then you can plan whether you actually want to rank him up to aim for specific perk points. Hopefully this makes sense, but it helps you plan accordingly and means you don't have to remember all these complicated calculations. You always want to target troops with the maximum perk points, so this document should help you to figure out which of those troops are maximum rolled, as we call them, and which ones you should actually spend your bronze troop orders on to rank up, and which ones maybe you will avoid ranking up, or if you don't even want that troop because he's so bad, say you don't want Richard Tran here because he's got a weird surname, you can actually click on him and there should be an option to send him to the reserve, or something like that. I can't even find that right now, but there would be an option somewhere around here. Essentially get rid of the trooper entirely if you don't want him, and you can get back some bronze orders for that. Hopefully this all made sense, but as I said before, I have many other videos on these topics which will help you to analyse your troops and explain further this whole thing. You can find them by clicking in the top right hand corner of the video now on the white exclamation mark. If there is enough demand for this, I'll probably make its own video because I could go into a lot more depth about troop perks and levelling and ranking and everything else, and it probably does deserve its own video in fairness. But I'll leave it there, and if you need more detail, then especially my Silver Troop Order Guide, that one has a lot more detail about perk points and how you should unlock them. But now, finally onto the pencil icon, which you can find here. Here we have two main options. One is to change the soldier's call sign, meaning their nickname. You can type in your own nickname here. For example, whatever that means, I don't even know what that means. That's just a bunch of letters, but you probably should make it memorable for this trooper, or something funny, or something that you just like. And you'll see a preview at the bottom below the box to show what it would look like. In-game and on the troop menu though, you will only see their nickname or call sign you give it. So you would only see this word where the trooper name is, and in-game when you actually use it. Even though the default name does still exist for this trooper. The default name will always be there, but the call sign is just a way to essentially give it a nickname, just to reword it so it looks a bit cooler or more memorable in-game for you. Note that to other players, the name of specific troopers aren't visible anyway, regardless of whether you use a call sign. They will only see your account name. So this is only a personal thing. You do need a call sign order to make this change though, which you can get from the Battle Pass, which we'll come to later, or alternatively by once again using the Enlisted Gold feature, which is that currency we spoke about, which you can buy from the Enlisted in-game store. Call sign orders would appear here if you've got any, but here's how you access the Enlisted Gold option. The other option on this menu is appearance for soldiers, which essentially means their face and body, not their outfits. It's a random change which you cannot select yourself, but probably will be completely customizable in the future. In other campaigns such as in Stalingrad, you can actually completely customize your soldier and also his uniform. But it's currently not in Normandy, but probably will be by the time you're watching this, so this option may look slightly different for you. But at the moment, you just spend a random appearance order to completely change and completely randomize how your trooper looks. Uniform for the soldier at the moment is just tied to what squad he's in. For example, notice though, as I flick between the 3 squads here, that all of them wearing different uniforms, which reflects the fact that different squads dictate what the outfits are. This feature will probably change in upcoming updates though, as you are allowed to completely customize your own troop. But if I wanted Anthony Buchanan, say, to wear something different to this, I could probably just move him into another squad, should I be allowed to do so, and then he'd be able to wear a slightly different uniform. Now, finally moving on to other things. In the top right hand corner of the screen, we see many things over here. The first gold icon with the letter E on it shows how much enlisted gold you have, which obviously we have 0 because it's a brand new account, which is the currency we have spoken about many times you can buy with real money for the game. And clicking on this icon would immediately open a tab for you to buy some gold. Next to it, you see all of your different weapon orders, and you can expand this menu by hovering over the icon. These are all weapon orders, and you have 3 different types: bronze weapon orders, silver weapon orders, or gold weapon orders. Bronze are the easiest to obtain, and you get these from participating in battles in-game or from selling weapons you currently have, as we showed before, and they are spent on upgrading your specific weapons, as we explained, using the upgrade button on the weapon loadout screen for the specific soldier. Silver weapon orders are also obtained from battles in-game, but are obtained at a much slower rate, and you can use these to buy new weapons and equipment from the logistics menu at the top left of the homepage. We'll come to that screen later. Gold weapon orders are extremely rare and can only be obtained from the battle pass, the daily login rewards we spoke about at the very start of the video, or from achievements or events, which we also saw, and achievements we'll come to later. And these can be used to obtain rare or unique weapons, many of which I actually have in-depth reviews on, which you can also check by clicking in the top right hand corner of the video on the white exclamation mark. I do this because these are very valuable orders and you want to pick the right thing for your playstyle and just what you enjoy. Next to this icon though, we have troop orders, also split into bronze, silver and gold. Bronze and silver troop orders are obtained in much the same way as weapon orders, and similarly, bronze troop orders are used to level up your individual soldiers that we spoke about earlier, whereas silver troop orders will allow you to obtain new soldiers for the reserve for your army or to place inside of squads you have space in, and you can get these all from the logistics tab once again. Gold troop orders are used to obtain unique soldiers who have medals for courage and valor in battle, and are obtained in much the same way as gold weapon orders, because your troopers you get with them don't actually always have the maximum perk point allocation. Remember when we spoke about maximum perk point allocation because of the specific soldier IDs? Maybe soldier IDs is the wrong word, because different players will have different soldiers and probably different players will get different perk points for the same gold troopers, which is a slightly weird concept to think about, but you know, point is the perk points allocated are completely random, but are once again bounded by the rank, the troop type, and the other things that we spoke about earlier. I can't even remember, it was just so complicated, man. If you want to see an explanation of how best to optimally spend all of your bronze, silver, and gold weapon orders, I also have many videos on these to help you make the decision for yourself. But for gold orders, it is often personal preference, so don't worry about gold soldier orders too much. There would also be another icon group up here if you had gold vehicle orders, which I don't have. It would pop up somewhere around here, but I don't have them, so it's not here, which essentially allow you to get new skins and fully upgraded vehicles. Oh, I should have mentioned that when you unlock tanker, pilot, or other vehicle-based squads in the campaign and equip them, you can open the squad and trooper panels as before and look at the specifications on your vehicle in terms of stats by clicking on the vehicle itself. Obviously, we can't do that right now because we don't have any vehicles unlocked, but if you just went here, you should have an icon of a vehicle somewhere at the top here. Click on the icon of the vehicle and it will open much more detail about the specific vehicle. You can also access the X-ray to see where its armor is heaviest, where the drivers and the other members of the crew sit, and also you can customize your vehicle in that same menu. Also in this section that we currently can't see might also be rewards from events or Twitch drops from watching live streamers during events. You should also note that all of these orders and gold at the top here are not campaign or faction specific. So they can be, for example, earned by playing one campaign and spent in another, which is fantastic. For example, I'll just change to Battle of Berlin, Axis whatever, and I've still got the exact same numbers of orders that I had to begin with. Past the little dividing line, or whatever this is called, we see a greyed out red icon with a star in the middle. We've seen this before in some places, such as in the troop loadout, and it's the icon for a premium account. If we click on it though, you can see all the benefits you get if you activate it, and how much it costs for a specific length of time. All costs are in Enlisted Gold, the currency you can buy with real money. Our premium account is really helpful and has many benefits, such as increased XP for your campaign, so you level up, your campaign quicker and unlock new squads and weapons quicker, increased XP for your squads, so you can unlock specific squad upgrades on the upgrades tab, which we'll come to soon, and increased XP for troops, so you can level them up quicker, as we just spoke about. You also get more capability of being able to bring more equipped squads that we spoke about with the squad slots, and you get extra space in the reserve too to house more soldiers, if you buy so many with your silver troop orders. And the new thing that's come in is you get also +2 vehicle decal slots. Decals are essentially skins for vehicles, which you can unlock with Enlisted Gold, or you can use the gold vehicle orders to get, which you can unlock with Enlisted Gold, or appearance orders, which you can also use on the tank, just as we showed how to use them on specific troopers. Buying premium is extremely beneficial if you're going to play this game a lot, and something I would strongly recommend if you're going to be serious about this game. But the business model for Enlisted might change for other campaigns, as we've seen with Stalingrad, so it's good to keep up to date with that to see what the premium bonuses actually apply to. But currently they apply to every single campaign and every single faction, so it's probably the best thing you could buy if you're trying to be as economically efficient with your purchasing as possible. Clicking the X in the top right hand corner and going back to the dividing line, past the premium account icon, we also see your own player's account name and icon, if you have one. But for obvious new account related reasons, mine doesn't have an icon, it's just the default whatever this is. Clicking on this brings up your entire player calling card or profile. You can see all of your stats across all different campaigns via a specific campaign or faction, which is really cool to see, such as above here. Obviously all of these stats are 0 because this is a brand new account, but I've played one battle on Tunisia Axis with the Italians, so this is just, I guess, goes to show the type of stats that would be in feature. Additionally, here you can change your icon if you have some spare by clicking on it, and you can buy some with Enlisted Gold as you see here, but many of these are just locked because you can obtain these as a reward for playing in events and doing well in them. This icon is visible to all players if they bring up your profile, or even after an in-game match when the scores are calculated and the leaderboard are shown to you, it will also appear there. You can also change your name decorator, which is a very similar feature, some of which can be bought by gold, and they just encircle your name, as you can see at the top there. Others are rewards for events. Some are quite cool, like this Roman Spartan thing, and the flames thing is what I actually have on my main account, because I got it as a reward from an event. This is also visible to all players at all times, so anyone clicking on your calling card, or even in game, when they click on tab for the leaderboard, they will also see whatever icons you've got next to you. You can also change your nickname here, should you not like the name you actually signed up with, but obviously it has to be freely available still for you to change it into. You can't just steal someone else's name. There are other tabs in the player's account's calling card, such as medals, which stores your achievements from any event as a permanent score on your card. Obviously there's nothing here because it's a new account once again. There's also the boosters tab, which is a completely useless tab, and I don't understand why it's even included here, because there are many other ways of seeing your XP boosts, which we'll come to later. But if we had an XP boost, say from the daily login rewards as we showed you earlier, obviously this is a different day that I recorded it on, so I don't have it here, but should I have unlocked an XP boost from the daily reward screen, it would have appeared here. It's completely pointless. I don't really know why it's even here, to be honest. You can just ignore this tab. You can also see your achievements here, which are such an important thing for new players. Please listen to me when I say this. This is because doing these relatively simple things, you get more silver, bronze, and even gold orders very, very easily, and quickly to help snowball the start of your Enlisted journey. You see, there are many here that I already unlocked just from playing one single battle in the Tunisia Axis campaign. So please do check this until you've completed them all, because they give you some really good gear considering all the stuff that you probably want to get. The last tab shows your weekly tasks, which if you complete in game every week as they become available, you unlock a free entire level of the battle pass, accessing even more rewards, which we'll come to in more detail in a second. So definitely do these soon as they become available for extra bonuses. You get 3 stars compared to normally just 1 for completing a single task on the battle pass. To the right of the player profile icons, you will see this icon, which actually just brings up menus, and it gives a huge variety of options to customize your game. There is also a button to switch campaign here, but it's mostly irrelevant as we've already shown you quicker ways on how to switch it. The options tab here specifically gives you a huge variety of ways to adjust your graphic settings in case your PC or Xbox or whatever you're playing on, potato, is struggling to run it alongside other sound and in-game options. The voice chat tab here is mostly useless as voice chat in-game was disabled recently due to in-game issues, but hopefully it comes back because it would be awesome to voice chat with your teammates again. But in the meantime, you probably should use Discord for the time being. If you want to see other tips on the things you can do in this tab, then I'd recommend watching my 35 tips and tricks video on Enlisted, because a lot of the tips actually come from this specific options menu, because there's some quite cool things here and some important things if you want to adjust graphical settings if your game isn't running properly. I'll leave a link to that in the description as well, but you can also click in the top right hand corner of the video. as always. There's also a controls tab here, which I do strongly recommend you actually click on and adjust things to your liking. And one specific piece of advice, which I mentioned in other videos as well, but one thing you really should do is to remove the keybinds for next weapon, which is somewhere here, next main weapon, somewhere here, because they overlap with the melee weapon control, and not changing it will make your life a living hell. Obviously I don't use gamepad, but if you use any other type of control, you can adjust that here as well. The default controls of this game sometimes have quite confusing things, so I would definitely advise customizing this whole thing to something you are familiar with in other first-person shooter games, for example. When you click OK out of this though, it would give you a warning. Just click OK because it doesn't matter. The support tab here takes you to a page where you can contact the publishers of the game, Gaijin Entertainment, not the developers, who are Darkflow. The forum tab is, well, you know, forums. You probably used those before. It just gives you a direct link to those. There is also an option to link your Enlisted account to a specific Twitch account here, which is useful if you want to claim Twitch drops from an event that's going on. And you need to have your accounts linked for this to work. So this is important if an event which has Twitch drops comes into play. The last option here is just to exit the game in case you don't want to play it anymore. For some reason you've had enough of this game, how dare you? Once you're finished with this menu though, you can just click off it to get back to the main screen. Back to the home page, and below the icon you will see the name of the campaign you're playing, what level you are in this campaign, which is this specific bar also shows the XP of your specific campaign, but also for the specific faction. For example, if I leveled up Normandy allies slightly, this bar would go up to, I don't know where, depends on how good of a game I have, I guess, depending on how far it fills. But for Normandy Axis, which you can click on by going to here, by swapping between the two, as we mentioned before, this would just be as it is right now. It wouldn't have changed because the campaigns are completely separate, and the factions are as well. And obviously just below it is the switch campaign button, so you can click this to swap to whatever campaign and whatever faction you feel like playing. But finally, moving down the right hand side, first thing you get to is this little rolling animation, which allows you to click on to access events or custom matches. If you click on the two little dots here, you can scroll between the two. For example, the D-Day events that we spoke about now is going on. You can click on this, and this is how you access the event screen as we showed earlier. This might not be up though, depending on whether there's actually events going on, but there will always be this thing, which is custom matches. You can click on this to see some events, some of which would require a leaderboard and have a leaderboard here. This is from a very long ago past event, so you can mostly ignore this now, but this is, you know, some of the stats recorded from the last event, and the rewards you get are here as well. This event screen is only for the major of the major events, as in the ones which do actually have a leaderboard. Any other event, like the D-Day one, is just something you don't need to click on that for, and you can just play any normal game because it's completely separate and doesn't have a leaderboard. It's not one of those types of events. But the other option at the top here is custom matches. Now this shows all the available and currently playing custom matches that are going on in the game. As you can see, Combat 228 here is playing a Lone Fighters, which is a specific game mode, not the main one, which is called Squads with the AI, but Lone Fighters is just one fighter, and usually the HUD is turned off and it's very hardcore. So wouldn't recommend this for new players, but it does add a bit of realism if you are into that. Obviously you can see what campaigns it's got enabled and the number of players in that game. You can actually join any custom game by clicking on one and clicking join. Obviously it's probably only advisable you do this, you know, if you've got a friend playing in it or something, because you might be interrupting someone. I don't really know. They haven't introduced custom game passwords yet, which is really confusing, but the custom games are here and they're really cool. You can also create your own custom game by clicking on this button and filter them by clicking here with some other stats of each custom game on the side. And the next thing we see just below it is the battle pass. Now we've spoken about this a few times, but the key thing to note is that how much time is left on this specific edition of the battle pass. Now this one is only 7 days. You've got 7 days left to complete this current season of the battle pass. Battle passes on Enlisted work in the exact same way as in other games, so you might be familiar with them. So basically you just complete a number of tasks which are here. You get an allocation of tasks a day, and if you complete these you get specific rewards, and the reward that's next up is shown by this icon. You need 3 stars to access the next reward, and you get a star from completing each of these specific rewards. Each task is worth 1 star. We'll go over some basics of battle passes though, because I'm going to assume that you don't know it for the purpose of this video, because it's a beginner's video, you know, we have to assume that. The 3 tasks you currently have active, i.e. working towards, are these 3 here, as well as your progress towards completing them. For example, finish the battle in the top 30% of your team. You need to do this 4 times for this specific reward, and I've completed this already once. Therefore, there's a little bar here which shows a little bit of progress, how close you are to actually completing it. There are sometimes individual rewards. Sometimes they're more complicated than just, you know, spending 10 minutes in a battle. Sometimes they're require you to do a very specific thing, like kill 55 enemies using a submachine gun or an assault rifle, and sometimes they can be much more broad, like just complete a battle. So you get quite a range here to help you complete them. There are also sometimes rewards attached to individual Battle Pass tasks. As you can see on my 3 here, there are icons to the side here of 2 bronze weapon orders for the top 2 tasks. Most of the time they won't be here for you, but some rewards from the daily login rewards we spoke about at the start of the video will be attached to specific Battle Pass tasks, and you will see the icons here. So I actually got 2 bronze weapon orders from the daily login rewards, and it attached itself to a specific Battle Pass task. If you haven't completed a task before getting access to another attached reward, it will attach to a different task and not replace the current one. For example here, I got the same exact thing from the daily login rewards again, so it attached itself to the second task, as I hadn't even completed the first task. However, if you already have 3 attached rewards, for some reason if you're not completing your Battle Pass task and you just keep getting loaded in from the daily rewards, then it will replace one. So be sure to complete the tasks at least every now and then so you aren't just throwing away free stuff. Are you crazy, man? Just below it though, you see the weekly tasks. Now if you click on this, it takes you to the exact same menu that we saw earlier when we were talking about the player calling card. As you can see from the other tabs at the top here, you might remember them. It's just another convenient way to see your weekly tasks and what needs completing. And you've got all these different things here, and it shows you how long you've got to complete them and also when they open, which is available just underneath the specific task. If you don't like a specific Battle Pass task that you were given, you can actually click on it, say I didn't like this one, and gives you a little bit more detail about what the specific task requires. But you can also change this battle task to another one. You can change one battle task daily and one more for every 2 completed tasks that you have on the day. So you can just click this button and it will allocate you a completely random new task. I do this every now and then when I get a task I really can't be bothered to do if it's something really specific, but if it's a broad one, I normally just leave it because I can normally complete them by just doing whatever I want. You can actually click on the Battle Pass itself properly to bring up a completely brand new menu to see more information about the upcoming rewards for future tasks, like XP boosts, silver and bronze orders, and there are some really spicy ones in here like free enlisted gold. You can also get weapon upgrade orders, call sign orders, and appearance orders as well as possibility to earn some gold vehicle orders, gold soldier orders, and last but not least, gold weapon orders. Now, a lot of these levels are free, as you can see just above it, but some are locked. And in order to unlock these levels, in order to access the rewards, you need to buy the Elite Battle Pass. This is just an elite version of the same Battle Pass, which will give you access to all the unique rewards, just like a poster in the game, as you get here. A free poster, which just signifies that you have the Elite Battle Pass, alongside some other rewards from automatically buying it, but you also get the rewards that are in the Battle Pass tree. The Elite Battle Pass itself costs 900 gold, so if you complete the entire Battle Pass, you get all your gold back from all these little enlisted gold rewards through the Battle Pass. So essentially, you only need to buy the Battle Pass once, because if you play the game and just, complete the Battle Pass, you'll get the gold back so you can buy next season's Battle Pass for free and just keep doing that. It's a great deal, to be fair, and while it incentivizes you to play more, it means that you don't actually need to spend too much money. And after getting a premium account, this is the second best thing I would recommend for you guys if you are serious about the game and playing more. Moving just below this Battle Pass part now to the big orange button. Now for most people it would normally say tutorial because it would require you to play a tutorial first, but I've already done it, which is stupid because I should have shown you that it just makes you do it, but that's what you'd get here. Don't worry, the tutorial is fairly short, but introduces you to some of the key aspects of the game itself when you're actually in game, including how to use vehicles. After that, a new section around the orange button will appear, allowing you to change game mode, which is right here. This obviously allows you to change game mode. So you can access the tutorials again should you need them, and there's a variety of them now, so you can pretty much tailor them to whatever you feel like you need to learn more about the game. Alternatively though, you can actually watch this video on screen now, which gives a good explanation of everything you need to know about winning games and getting more kills. But alternatively, you also have practice, which is essentially a shooting range for you to practice whatever you want, or just to play around with your squad really and just test a few things out. Private and completely alone just for you. Then there's the squads mode, which is the main game of the game of Enlisted. Obviously it gives us like the description at the bottom there, but you fight with an entire squad of soldiers, like all the squads that you see here, and all the soldiers within them. That's where squads mode comes into play. If you're playing squads mode, you will see all of these troops in battle with you. You can also see the events here as well. There's just another way to access the events tab, but then there's also custom matches here, once again, another way to access the custom matches tab. If you wanted to play that lone fighters game mode I was talking about earlier, currently you can only do that in custom matches, so you have to set that as a specific setting. It's quite popular now for some reason, after they've relegated it to custom matches. Who knows, dude? I should also say that this green icon here just means that it's a new thing you haven't really clicked on or tested yet, because if I click on something or hover over it, the green icon will disappear, and it's really annoying for me, so I pretty much always get rid of them, just like that. You saw. Now the green icon's gone. And there's green mode squads. So there's something in there that I haven't clicked on, which is the tutorials. And it wants me to hover over this engineer tutorial so now I can get rid of that exclamation mark. I'm just showing you this because it's really annoying for me. But now it should be gone. When you do click to join the battle though, once you're finally ready, there will be a menu that pops up showing your queue time. But it also asks you whether you want to queue up for both factions of a campaign or just the one. So untick it if you only want to play the faction that you are currently selecting, which is on your home page. For example, if I didn't untick it and left it ticked, then I could also end up playing as the Axis in the same campaign. It won't let you switch campaign because the campaigns are completely separate, but may make you play either side of the campaign. Be sure to untick it or tick it, whatever you feel like you actually want to play at the time. Opting to play as either of them might have reduced queue times, but not that queue times are long at all anyway, normally less than a minute, so you'll find the game really easily. Just below the big orange button though, we have the server selector. Now it says Europe for me because I'm in Europe, I live in the UK, so I've got the main European server, but clicking on this allows you to change which server you're connected into, and it's divided into 3 for Europe, North America, and Eastern Europe. The best option for you in terms of ping and internet connection should already be selected by default, but you can change it if you wanted to play with specific friends who live in a different continent. For example, when I play with my American friends, I probably have to tick the North American server because they're completely different, otherwise I will never be able to get in a game with them. But for my Asians out there, sorry, but Eastern Europe or North America is probably the best you're going to get. Unless, of course, you're from like New Zealand, then North America genuinely might be actually for some reason the best. You can also select multiple different servers, so you can queue up for any server, which will probably have a queue time of like 1 second. But you can also pick specific servers depending on, if you want to play a specific one or just you don't care about multiple. Like if I don't want to play in Eastern Europe, then I can queue up for the other 2. If I don't want to play in Europe for some reason, which I don't know why I would want to because I live in Europe, then I could pick North America or Eastern Europe. But bear in mind, your connection will be slightly different to these. Oh wait, I forgot. The join any team button is also here as well. So if I had this ticked, as I do right now, then I could join both Axis and Allies. If it's unticked, then I will only play as the Allies because I have those selected. But if I only wanted to play as Axis, I just click on the Axis button and then click start. And because this is unticked, I will only play as Normandy Axis. Right in the bottom right-hand corner of the homepage are also a few icons, as you can see here. On the left side of the dividing line is where you can add other players into your party and queue up for matches together if you're friends with them. You can currently only get parties of 4, which explains why there's only 3 slots here. And if you want more than that, then I'd recommend creating a custom game, or just by clicking on the start button at the same time on the same server and hope that you get in the same game. I think they only make it so you can play with a party of 4 because otherwise your team might be too stacked and the game might be too one-sided. Click on the add person icon and type in their username here if you don't have them from your friends list, or if they are on your friends list then they should appear here. I don't have any friends because it's a new account. Trust me, I'm not that lonely. Here you can also add friends as well by clicking on the icon with the plus button. You can see all the friend requests you have, invitations you've sent, or rejected requests from other people. You type in whatever the username here is that you want to find. Obviously if it comes up with no contacts then you've spelt the name wrong, but for some reason there are actually people called GFGG. As you can see, all these guys genuinely have their username as GFGG somewhere in it, which is really strange. I did this randomly, so I'm surprised there are actually people with this name. You can also see the people you've blocked with the other icon at the side here. You can have your block list is shown here. The friend list can also be accessed by clicking in the bottom right hand corner, the very bottom right hand corner on contacts. It brings up the exact same menu as before. And there's also the invite section, so you get a notification here if one of your friends invites you to join a game with them, which essentially means that they've clicked on you here and typed in your name to add you to a party. There is currently no way to talk to other players on the homepage by sending custom messages, so you'll have to discuss it outside of the game. But once you're in a game, there is the in-game chat, so you will have that. But obviously you just can't coordinate what you're doing at the time being. Bear in mind, if you join a party of friends who connects to a different server, then when you join that party, you will automatically be joining that friend's server. So if you join an American friend, for example, your server will most likely change to North America, as you see here, unless you tell them to, switch to Europe. It completely depends on who's the host of the party. The thing in the bottom left corner, by the way, is just DirectX showing you what your FPS is. But I know a lot of people were scared that they're only getting 60 FPS, or maybe confused that we're getting 60 FPS in this homepage, but that's because this homepage is always standardized for everybody at 60 FPS. When you're actually in game, don't worry, your FPS will be probably what it normally should be, depending on your graphics settings, of course, which you could obviously change as we spoke about by going to the menu and options. So the only thing left on this page is in the top left-hand corner over here, but these actually take you to different sections of the game entirely. So we can basically say we're finished with this page. Finally! Thank God, that took a while, didn't it? But finally, we're done on the home page. So let's change tabs to the campaign tab, which you can find at the top left corner of the screen. Click on that and you'll be taken to a whole new section of the entire game. This screen will look very different for every single faction in every single campaign, so don't worry if it's not the same as it looks for mine. This screen purely shows what you can unlock at every single level of each faction's campaign. So for example, I know at level 2 that I will unlock the 6th Armoured Division, 69th Tank Battalion, which is a new squad with the icon seen on the side, so we know that it's a tanker class. This is what a tanker class icon looks like. It also says it here, and it's also a tanker class 1, as you can see by the single ribbon that we've spoken about many times before already. You can also see its starter squad perk, the thing that we spoke about when we spoke about soldier perks, alongside some other information about the squad, and further details can be accessed by just clicking on it. For example, to see its starting class perks, as we haven't actually seen so far, but this is what a tanker gets as their starting class perks. You also see a little bit more historical information on it and how it was used in World War II if this specific division was, actually in battle. Sometimes there's more detail than this, but for this one, it's just quite a simple one and just one sentence. Every new squad though will come with at least a new vehicle, as we have here, the M5A1 Sherman tank, a famous tank of the war, or a new weapon. For example, if you click back, you see level 3 comes with a weapon. It's a squad, it's an engineer squad. This is what the engineer icon looks like. Obviously it's engineer 1, this is its starter perk, and we get a new weapon, not a new vehicle for this one. If we click on this again, we see more details about it. You see the different class perks, the starting perks that this class gets, a little bit of different information, and some more information on the side here. The big thing here is that, you get a weapon with this squad. You can actually click to access more details about the weapon it comes with or vehicle by actually just clicking on the vehicle or weapon itself. For example, if we click on the M5A1 Stuart tank, then we can turn that around as you see normally with the right mouse button that we've done with other weapons in the past. A little bit of information which might normally pop up here if you actually had this unlocked to show what you could actually get at each different level. You see a little bit of information on the side, and then you see its stats at level 1. These are all the stats at level 1. You see its upgrades as well. Same kind of thing as we saw with the weapons, so it's just slightly different statistics because obviously a vehicle is, a different entity to a weapon, so there's slightly different stats on the side. Obviously the big things are its armaments, cannons just imply machine gun really, and then machine gun here as well. So this basically got equipped 2 different types of machine guns. This is maximum speed, which will dictate, how fast it moves in battle, which is actually quite high for most tanks, but obviously this is quite a light tank, so it moves a lot quicker. You see its armor as well, which is probably the most important thing. You do want one with good armor, so you don't just get, exploded all the time by pretty much anything. And you can see where the armor is located as well by backside, bottom, front, everything else. The engine power is another good indicator of how quickly it can get up to its max speed. Its weight as well, its upgrades as we said before, and there's so much more. You see this is the icon for a tank as well. But if you click on the weapon, for example, at level 3 on the engineer squad, you actually get taken to a very similar screen that we saw when we looked at the weapons in the squad loadouts. Now this is exact same stats as we saw before, but obviously you do not have this weapon unlocked, so you can't really move between them to see what kind of stats it would have. We'll come to this later in the logistics section. If you do have this unlocked, you'll be able to see on the side here all the different upgrades, and you're able to click on them to actually see what the stats are, rather than having to, calculate things using the statistics and upgrades thing at the bottom right hand side of the screen. Some squads you can also try out for yourself by clicking the button here, try out squad, after you've clicked on the squad itself. However, not all of them can do this. For example, it does seem to be that you do need to have the squad that you're trying to use to try out as the next squad you currently get. For example, you can't try out this engineer squad because you're only level 1. You're not level 2, so you can't try this out. You can't try out this plane, which is in level 4. You can't try out this weapon because it's just a weapon. It has to be a squad, I think, for you to try out. You can't try out this plane either, etc. You could go on forever. But you can try out this level 2 reward. You can try this out because you are level 1, and it's the next level to unlock the thing. So this is why you can unlock this. Back on the front page though, you can see the XP requirement to be able to unlock this squad. You need 500 XP. This is what this at the end here means. And as you gradually earn XP, this bar will move up and there'll be a gold marker. It will mark somewhere in this bar to show how far you are to unlocking the next squad. Obviously this bar is transparent for me. There is no orangey yellow marker to show, the progress to the next next level, because as this is a brand new account and I haven't played anything on this campaign, on this faction, but that is what would happen. And you can see as you go up the campaign tree, this level reward only costs 500 XP, this costs 12,000 XP, this costs 24,000, 26,400, 36,000, etc. And as you go up the campaign tree and using this bar at the side here, you can drag all the way up to the very end. And you can see at some point there'll be a maximum you need of 180,000 XP to be able to go in the next level, and I think that starts somewhere around here. Yes, level 24 is the first level where it finally hits 180,000 XP, and every level onwards from that needs 180,000 XP. All the previous levels require something more. For example, you can see that, you know, it's 144,000, it's 144,000, 144,000 again, and at some point it will start decreasing, 132,000, etc. So it basically means that you can level up slightly quicker at the beginning of each campaign to be able to, you know, unlock things better, and it's probably a good thing if they would do that, because the grind of Enlisted is quite long. 180,000 XP is a lot, trust me. So, you know, it's good that they actually do incorporate some kind of system at the start so you can unlock things a lot quicker. You can also level up quickly with Enlisted Gold to buy the next level. For example, if I clicked back on it, you could see buy level 2 for 200 Enlisted Gold. You can do this, I think, for pretty much any level, provided, you know, it's the next level. So once again, same kind of feature as the Tryouter squad. If the Tryout squad's not there, then I don't think you can buy it, because it has to be the next level. It's also here on the bottom screen here. You do need to have it as the next level to be able to unlock it to buy it. So you can't just, you know, skip to the very end of the campaign. You do need to buy each individual one. But it does get quite expensive if you do that, because, you know, the whole point of the game is to grind, you know, to play the game, to deservedly unlock the new items. You should also see in here some premium squads. Now, they normally have a red background to these, and they're quite clearly marked as premium squads. But for some reason, if you haven't played any battles in a campaign, you won't actually see the premium squads listed on here until you've completed at least one battle. So because I know I have actually completed a battle in Tunisia for the Axis, if I go to the campaign tab for Tunisia Axis, you can see, for example, that for like this one, the FNAB 43 squad is a premium squad. It's marked up here. It's got the premium squad icon as well. These premium squads can be bought with Enlisted Gold, but only Enlisted Gold. You can't actually earn these with XP. These are often unique squads with unique weapons and outfits that are quite cool, but they're not pay to win, as all weapons are very good at killing things in general. It just helps to add a little bit of uniqueness and spice to your army. And premium squads come with a variety of buffs, including fully upgraded soldiers already, fully upgraded weapons, more XP when using them in game. You get plus 100% XP if I'm not mistaken. It might say that somewhere around here. But all premium squads in general come with extra XP gain when being used in battle, so it's another way to help you level up quicker. I have many videos on my channel already reviewing a lot of the cooler, more unique premium squads which you can watch, showcasing the division's histories and how they feel in game. Generally though, better squads and weapons are unlocked later in the campaign trees for free, but any squad and any weapon is more than good enough to kill loads of enemies and dominate games if you're good enough, so don't worry about premium squads too much. They're just another way for you to feel a bit more immersed in the game and get something slightly cooler, really, even though they're not overpowered, so do not worry about that. A lot of people do end up thinking some of these are overpowered, but I can definitively tell you the FNAB 43 is not an overpowered weapon. There are some weapons which come with premium squads in other campaigns which some people do debate about whether they might be pay to win, but realistically speaking, none of them are. None of them are good enough to be classified as pay to win, because you do get, I would say, better weapons for free in every campaign. It should also be noted that there are obviously some major power spikes from leveling up your campaigns. For example, as soon as you just unlock a specific level. One of the big power spikes is when you unlock your first semi-automatic rifle, or at least first good semi-automatic rifle, I should probably say, because they fire so much quicker than bolt-action rifles. It's just such a big power spike in order to help you level up quicker and get more kills. Ignoring the M1 carbine, because I think it's awful, your first real big power spike for Invasion of Normandy allies in particular is level 7, the M1 Garand. I would strongly recommend that you do hold off buying a lot of the previous levels if you can, or at least only buy the bare minimum of them. This is because the M1 Garand is probably what you should be spending most of your orders on, as we've spoken about, and we'll show you how to spend them in a second. You should be spending a lot of them on the M1 Garand when you unlock it, because you can put it on pretty much every single troop in the game. And it's one of the best weapons for the allies in Normandy, and you get it quite early on. It's important to know your power spikes so you can know things like this, and then not miss out and waste your orders on something that you probably didn't need, or something that really isn't much better than the things you've already got for free. Generally speaking though, power spikes come in at the first semi-automatic rifle in the game, but also ones which have fully automatic capabilities abilities later in the campaign tree, but for Normandy allies in particular, not to the M1 carbine. Even though that is a semi-automatic rifle, it's, in my opinion, one of the worst weapons in the game. You should probably hold off just 2 more levels to be able to get level 7, and then spend pretty much all of your bank account, I would say, on M1 Garons. When I say all of your bank account, I don't mean all of your bank account. This is because it's free, and also because you don't need to buy 100 of them. You just need a certain number. That means all of your troops that can actually equip one. You can learn what the best weapons in each class are by watching my videos covering the top 20 of each, some of which are on screen for you. So don't worry guys, I've got everything covered for you. As we mentioned though, the campaign trees change when you change faction and campaign. And as you can see, for example, the Axis in Normandy have a very different campaign tree. One tip also to note is that if you're not sure whether you really want to start grinding a campaign, it might be worth it to go to the very end of a campaign and have a look at some of the weapons you do get for free, and what you would get if you managed to stick through it the entire time and level up to the actual end. For example here, the RPZB is quite a fun weapon and quite a powerful one for the anti-tank guns. You also get an MG34 with Patronentrommel 34 magazine, which is quite a good machine gun. Also the MP43, which is arguably one of the best weapons in the game in my opinion. So yeah, really, if you're not sure, this is probably a good way to decide whether you actually want to grind up a campaign or not. But we can finally move on to the third tab, which is the upgrades tab. And here you can see all of the individual upgrades to each of the specific squads you have unlocked once you level up each squad by using it in game. You level up both squads and troops from playtime, getting kills and completing objectives on the objective points, among many other things in game. After every time you level up a squad, you get a new perk squad point, which would be given at the top here, but you also get an icon in the corner of your squad here. You can use these to unlock a new perk, and once again there is a bar showing you how close you are to the next level, as well as the possibility to buy the extra level for enlisted gold. On the far left hand side you will see all the squads you have unlocked already, even if they aren't actually equipped. Even if they're in reserve, they will appear all the way down here. So it's a good way just to check, what squads you have leveled up and what you haven't, without, needing to go and manually put back each and every squad into the currently equipped squads section. Of course here though we only have the 3 starter squads, but there are 3 categories for upgrades for every squad, and it's the same categories for every squad, but they might have different upgrades within them, which are squad upgrades, personnel upgrades, and workshop upgrades, which actually mean weapon upgrades. The blue tree though, the squad upgrades, gives access to a variety of perks, including gaining XP quicker to level up your squad, increasing the reserve to hold more troops, unlocking more troop squad slots in that squad for the specific troop types. For example, in the assaulter squad, we can unlock perks to put more assaulters in that squad, such as these right here, which will increase the maximum capacity of how many assaulters you can actually put in this squad. Remember that we saw we had 2 maximum slots for assaulters earlier. By unlocking this one, for example, you could get 3. By unlocking this one, you can make it 4. There are also some other branches here where you can decide whether to add different troop types to the squad. For example, this branch, once you've unlocked this one, you need to have the precursor to all of them. There's a convenient line to show what you need to get before you can actually unlock specific things. But say you'd unlocked this one already, which is plus 25% more squad experience from using it in game, then you have a decision here you can make between adding an anti-tank gunner to the squad, an engineer to the squad, or a radio man to the squad. These are all the icons. As I said before, you'll get to know what all the icons mean just as you play a bit more. It'll be quite simple really. You can only pick one of these 3, so when you pick one, the other 2 will not be available, so it is a tough decision often between them. You can also make the squad actually bigger in size by picking perks just as these, and for specific squads like engineers and radio men squads, you will have other upgrades here that won't be here for the assaulters, like access to smoke artillery for radio men or access to building machine gun nests for engineers. Realistically though, this is the tree you should upgrade first out of the 3 that you have on the side. This is because especially picking the extra squad experience from using it in game will allow you to actually level up the squad quicker once you get all of these, which in turn makes unlocking all of these much easier as well. But I'd still also recommend picking out all of your perks for this tree before you move on to the others. It's just because it will help you, if you are going to level up every single squad, to be able to use it more effectively in game, which will lead to getting more XP and in turn making, as I said before, the other 2 much easier to upgrade to. I'd also advise, if you ever get a tree like this, to probably at least put 1 engineer in each of your squads. This is because engineers are, in my opinion, the best class in the game, and they have so many unique abilities that you won't get in any other troop. But for example here, you might actually not decide to pick an engineer, and that's fine, because further down you get the same decision again, where you can pick an engineer here, for example. And if you don't know why engineers are the best class in the game, then watch this video, because a lot of the things I talk about in here are engineer specific, because they can do so much to help you actually win games, like build rally points, which are so important. The rest is then up for your personal preference really, so go with whatever fits your playstyle and whatever you prefer. Moving on to the red upgrade tree now. This is for upgrades that affect the specific troop type that is unlocked with this squad and the troop type that is made for that squad. For example, here you can unlock the ability to rank up your troops, such as here, Assaulter of 2 rank. This is how you unlock the ability to be able to upgrade your trooper to rank 2. You also get individual squad experience for that class type, Assaulter 1s, because there's an Assaulter 1 squad. Here you unlock Assaulter of rank 3, here you get more XP, here you get Assaulter of rank 4, etc. You can also unlock the sidearm slots as we talked about before for the specific troopers, and you get a choice here between the backpack slot, which we spoke about before, and the secondary weapon slot. When I say the specific troop type though, I mean these upgrades only affect the troop type that comes with this squad. We're currently looking at the Assaulter 1 troop type, as we spoke about many times before. So all of these upgrades will only affect Assaulter troop type 1s. But these buffs do not matter if an Assaulter troop type 1 is in any other squad. For example, if we're able to put, say, an Assaulter, I don't know, in this Rifleman squad, then all the buffs we unlocked from the red tree for the Assaulter 1 troop type 1 squad will also transfer to any Assaulter 1 we put into this squad. And it doesn't matter about the red tree for any other squad. All it matters is about the red tree for the squad that came with that specific troop type. Hopefully that makes sense. It's quite a complicated thing to get your head around, but once you get it, it makes a lot of sense. These trees, once again, will all look different for different types of troop types. For example, the sniper troop type looks slightly different here, and also for the rifleman type, you get another slightly different tree. If you've unlocked it, I should say, for any of the upgrades in any tree, they will appear as white, and you can unlock them once you have the available points by clicking somewhere in the bottom corner here. But the only real decision here is between the backpack slot and the secondary weapon slot. Now, this is quite a debate between the community, but for the most part, I'd suggest most of the time, or almost all of the time, if not all of the time, going for the backpack slot. This is because they give you access to so many different aspects, so you can kind of change your mind depending on your playstyle for the specific squad. Secondary weapons, though, are just an extra weapon, which you may actually never end up using if you've got, say, engineers who can build ammo pouches, or if you're worried about losing all your ammo, then technically you can just give a backpack and put a large ammo pouch in there, for example. So backpacks are more versatile in my opinion, which is why I pretty much always pick them. Obviously though, customize it to your playstyle as you see fit, and don't let me influence you that much. The green tree, the last tree here, is obviously, as we said before, for weapon upgrades. And here is where you also unlock the ability to upgrade your vehicles if that squad comes with one. You can also cut the cost of upgrading weapons or vehicles here and increase the yield you get from bronze orders when you scrap the weapons or vehicles if you wanted to. For example, this level just allows you to upgrade the M3 submachine gun, as we saw before. That was the weapon that came with this troop type to level 2. Here, you get a plus 50% exchange bonus, which essentially means that if you decide to trash your M3 submachine gun, you get slightly more bronze orders for doing so. Here, you get another of the same bonuses. Here, you unlock the ability to be able to upgrade it to level 3. Here, you reduce the cost of upgrading, and another one here, and so on. Even though, in theory, you can upgrade your weapons at any time after you unlock the available perk to be able to upgrade it, I'd strongly recommend you wait until you've unlocked the cost reduction perks, just because it will save you so many orders in the long term. Here, you also get access to the other weapons that technically come with the squad, but not really. For example, the M3A1 submachine gun squad. Now, if we look in the campaign tree for this specific weapon, it will be somewhere here, I don't know exactly where, level 9. Now, you see how it doesn't actually come with its own squad. This is because whenever you see something like this, that means that this weapon technically goes with the squad that is most appropriate for this weapon that you unlocked much earlier. For example, this is an Assaulter squad weapon, as you can see from this icon, but there is no Assaulter squad. Therefore, the only squad which has the capability to actually upgrade this weapon and unlock the upgrades for this weapon are the first Assaulter 1 troop types. And the same thing will go with any other weapon you see later in the game for earlier squads. Let's find another example of this. For example, at level 29, you unlock the M1A1 Thompson. But what squad will have the capabilities to unlock the upgrades for this specific weapon? Well, to check this, we have to go back in the campaign tree to find the last available Assaulter squad. Note we also have the Lanchester in the meantime, which essentially means that Lanchester and the M1A1 Thompson, as we just saw, will both be upgraded by the same squad that was unlocked earlier. Now, if we keep scrolling to the side here, we should eventually find the Assaulter 2s. Therefore, we can deduce that the Assaulter 2s, without even checking this, will have the capability to not only unlock the abilities to upgrade the Sten Mark II, but also the Lanchester and the M1A1 Thompson. If we go back to the M1A1 Thompson, and we probably scroll to the right, we'll eventually see Assaulter 3s, which have the M1 Thompson. Therefore, the M1A1 Thompson is part of the Assaulter 2's upgrade tree, but the M1 Thompson is part of the Assaulter 3's upgrade tree. Hopefully that makes sense. But going back to the upgrade screen now and back to the Assaulters, this is how we understand why the M3A1 is also here with the M3 as upgrades for Assaulter 1 troop types. I should also state that the same thing we just went through applies for vehicles as well. In general though, I'd recommend you to complete each tree literally in order. So starting by completing out the blue tree, then by going on to the red tree, then by going on to the green tree. And doing the green tree last because all weapons are deadly anyway and they only provide, for the most part, quite minuscule upgrades. So you can really shred enemies much better and level up a lot quicker by upgrading the blue tree first, then the red tree, then the green tree. But obviously it is personal preference, so if you want to do it the other way, then feel free. Some players I know though don't actually decide to level up every single squad. I do it because I like pain, but other players choose not to. Therefore, for example, they might not care about the upgrades for the specific squad because they'll never use the squad. Maybe they only care about the upgrades for the soldier that it comes with. If you've got an anti-tank squad, for example, and you don't actually want to play with the anti-tank squad, but you want to use the anti-tank trooper in another squad, therefore you want to unlock its upgrades, you may just start with this tree, because then you unlock the upgrades, or say the anti-tank trooper, so then you can put that anti-tank trooper into any other squad and it will have everything unlocked. Similarly, if you hate the squad and you hate the trooper that it comes with, you may just start with the green tree, because maybe you only care about the weapon that it comes with. For example, if it's quite an overpowered weapon or one of those power spikes we talked about earlier, and then in which case you might solely want to upgrade the tree for that weapon so you can use that in any other squad at its maximum capabilities. So there's a little bit of strategy you can do here. Pick and choose which upgrades you actually want, what you will actually use in the future. So it might be good to plan a little bit ahead of time. But don't worry if you don't know, because I played every single campaign and every single squad, ranking them all up to the maximum, so you aren't alone if you don't really know what you want to do. You really only figure out what kind of things you want in the late game anyway, so don't stress about it. Moving on to the final tab at the top of the screen is the Logistics tab. This is where you get access to all of your new troops, weapons, vehicles, you name it, it's in here. This is where you get everything, anything you could possibly want. Now, a lot of these are blanked out for me because, once again, for some reason, Enlisted requires you to actually play a game before they really show you what's going on in this screen and allows you to really unlock anything. I can still click on them, luckily, but I can't unlock anything because, obviously, I haven't unlocked it. In weapon delivery, you will find all of the possible primary weapons in their categories for each campaign and faction, remembering that all factions and campaigns will have different options in here. If you haven't unlocked a weapon yet, as I said before, they will all be grey, and they will show you what level you actually need to be able to unlock it. But if you have unlocked it, it will be in colour and show you the price of it in silver weapon orders just below it. You can also click on any weapon and ask for more details about it. I mean, you can't right now because you need to unlock it first, but it would take you to the campaign tree and then to the exact same place where you can just click on it and access all the details should you have not unlocked it before. But if you had unlocked it, you'll be able to find an option here saying get more details, and as I said before, it would have all the different upgrades on the side here, which you can click on and see what the stats would be for each different level without you needing to actually do any calculations, which is quite a nice thing. And a lot of people will forget it's there, so it just saves you doing a bit of mental maths. Once again, you can see ahead of time which are the best weapons to prioritize your silver weapon orders for by watching my top 20 rankings for each weapon class in the entire game. Click on Logistics to go back to the Logistics tab, or any of the other medium tabs in between, just to show you what other things you can get in weapon delivery. You can see the pistols here. Obviously these are for the sidearm slots, so these aren't actually primary weapons, but pretty much everything else here is. All the things in rifles are, all the things in assault weapons are. There are some things in heavy weapons which count as secondary weapons, such as the flamethrower, the Piat, the mortar, the bazooka, the other flamethrower, the other bazooka, but everything you could possibly want for each campaign is in here. Going back to the Logistics tab on the main menu, in troop reinforcements, you will find all of the possible troop types you can unlock in the entire campaign, once again grayed out with a level requirement shown if you haven't unlocked them yet. If you scroll down, you will also see that there are numerous Type 2 or Type 3 of the same soldier type. This is finally where, when I kept stressing about how it's soldier Type 1 comes into play. For example, Machine Gunner 3 here is essentially the exact same as Machine Gunner 2 and Machine Gunner 1. However, they will have better starting perks and a better perk point allocation and better troop type specific perk starters, but will have better starting perks and a better perk point allocation, as well as more perk points than individual Machine Gunner 2s and 1s. Basically, in essence, giving you access to more of the good perks, or at least giving you a better chance of being able to unlock all the best perks that you could possibly want. Remember to use that unofficial Enlisted document to figure out if the troop you just unlocked has the maximum perk points for his rank and troop type or not, which can help you decide if you actually need more troops. But there you will also see what I mean when I say that Type 3s will have more perk points than Type 2s and Type 1s, whereas Type 2s will have more perk points than Type 1s, etc. In equipment delivery though, you will find all of the other miscellaneous items such as medkits, toolkits, different melee weapons like axes, backpacks, grenades, grenades, mines, and anything else you could possibly want. If you have the campaign level to unlock them, which obviously this account doesn't, then you can click on them and then access more detailed information as we spoke about before. But in general, my strong advice is that you should ensure that every soldier is equipped with a medkit at the bare minimum, and an explosion pack. Mines, axes, and other types of grenades aren't really needed, and you should probably save your orders unless you have loads to spare. Backpacks are probably the second priority, and it might make more sense to save up for the large versions of each. The large versions are at the end, whereas the smaller versions are near the start. Remember that each item you unlock in any area of the logistics tab entirely only applies to that specific campaign and that specific faction. The three options just below the weapon delivery, troop reinforcements, and equipment delivery are all Battle Pass items, meaning these are where you spend your gold weapons, specifically in Battle Pass unique weapons, your gold vehicle orders, specifically in Battle Pass unique vehicles, and your gold soldier orders, specifically in Battle Pass unique soldiers. They have the exact same things, just more of the premium, rarer weapons in here, more of the rarer skins and decals for the vehicles, and the rare medalled troop types as we spoke about before. Remember though that you can only get one of these, i.e. if you spend your gold order weapon on the, say, Hyde Model 35 submachine gun, then that would immediately be unlocked for the Normandy Allies faction only, and the option to buy another would be removed from the logistics store, as you already have one. So this would not be here anymore after you've unlocked one. You cannot get multiple of the same gold order weapon unless it is available in another campaign. Remember, I have many videos on different gold order weapons for you to compare which one you should get on my channel, and I recommend you check them out before you spend your gold orders, as you don't get many gold orders of any type at all. Battle Pass unique soldiers and Battle Pass unique vehicles work in the same way as the Battle Pass unique weapons, but remember what we said earlier, that while the gold vehicles and gold weapons come at maximum rank for you anyway, the gold soldiers or Battle Pass unique soldiers come at maximum rank, but not maximum level, nor do they guarantee you getting the maximum perk points available for that trooper, which is a really stupid thing, because I really think they should at least come with the maximum perk points they can get, because otherwise they're kind of worthless and you might get a better soldier for free using the troop reinforcements tab. I might also mention here that there's kind of a little trick you can do with the Battle Pass unique vehicles, in the sense that once you unlock these, because they are essentially just camos and skins of existing weapons that are already in the campaign tree, that if you unlock them, you can actually unlock the entire vehicle much earlier at any level you are currently at. The best example of this is in the Moscow campaign for the Allies, where if we look at the campaign tree, somewhere near the end you should see the T50 tank. I'm not even sure where it is. It'll be somewhere here, the T50. It's level 29, right? But if you go to the logistics tab and you have a spare gold vehicle order, you could actually spend it on the T50, which is a slightly different camo, so it will look slightly different, but it's the exact same tank in reality. Therefore, you can use this tank right from level 1 if you spend it on something like this. That's obviously the best example of it, and it doesn't always work. It only works in specific cases, where as we said before, the tank in reality in the campaign actually corresponds to a very early squad that you unlock, so it's kind of hard to explain, and I wouldn't recommend this all the time, but obviously the big one is the T50 in Moscow for the Allies. Anything below the Battle Pass unique stuff displays some options for premium squads or some other packages that you can get from the devs or from Gaijin, so I'd recommend checking these out if these are something that you're interested in, and there's lots of them here depending on which campaign and which faction you're playing. A lot of these are bundles for premium squads, but some other premium squads are in the campaign tab, and some of those aren't even here for some reason, so don't assume that this is the only place you can get your premium squads, because a lot of them aren't here and you can actually only find them in the campaign tab. Now, because we've basically covered everything so far, the only other thing there is to add is that there is an official Enlisted Discord channel with many ways to ask questions to other players, myself included, and find out about new updates or find friends to play with, and covers the English, German, and Russian speaking communities. I also have my own Discord channel for our community where you can ask questions directly to myself or other players. I'll leave a link to join both in the description for you. But with this video you've just watched, you should now know everything about how the game truly works. I doubt you'll need another explanation video after this one, believe me. Bear in mind that with updates, some of these facts might be slightly off at the time you are watching, but for the most part it will still always be accurate. Now, if you're wondering how best to play in an actual game though, I already have covered everything you need to know to win more games and get more kills in this video. Nevertheless, it's been a pleasure, albeit an absolute slog, chatting to you today, guys. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.